Good evening and welcome to WriterGreg on twitch.tv. I'm glad that you could all make it, and also for those who are going to be watching on demand either at twitch.tv or youtube.com, WriterGreg First Drafts. I'm here for another great evening of world building and working on the WorldAnvil Summer Camp 2020 writing challenge, where we do 33 prompts in 31 days, helping authors to flesh out their worlds more effectively and to give it a lot more depth. Tonight we are going to be working on prompt number 13, and also afterwards we're going to do some critiques if there are any in the chat who would like to receive a critique or a showcase for your prompt. I would like to give a special shout out to Mad Moon Crow and Gift of Gabby 1, who followed me since the last time I streamed, and I really appreciate that follow, and looking forward to meeting and helping anyone who else is on their writing journey. So with that introduction, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in it, and if there's anyone who has any questions, comments, or critiques of the work we're doing there, feel free to jump in the chat and let me know. It would be really helpful, and we can work on this together. If you have questions about your world and want to brainstorm some things together with myself and those in the chat, feel free to do so, and we can work on that together. As always, or since the beginning of this chat, we are a member of the Anvilite Streamer Corps, and the calendar is available at worldanvil.com. Anvilite Streamer Corps. If you just search that, you should be able to find it. And we are a collection of many streamers who are working together to work on world building, and also a wide variety of different streams. As you can see here, I am in the writing category, but there are many others who are also in the world building and miscellaneous categories. So we'll check in more with that, and we'll raid another streamer at the end of this stream based on this calendar. So we'll go with that. Starting off tonight, we will be working on the next of the articles that we have, and this article is going to be talking about birthdays. Describe how birthdays are celebrated in a particular culture in your world. So we're going to start off with that, and to write about the ritual. All right. So let's just get started here, and we'll just talk about birthdays of Sagadorm during the reign of, I can spell reign of the Fairy Council. That will help give us a bit of a time set, because the Fairy Council is from the year 1 BC to the year 1123 CE, as we've talked about before. We'll take off the draft notification, come over here to the Summer Camp 2020 challenge, make sure the access is public, and we'll go ahead and save that change. Going and just taking a look at the community challenges. All right, we already got 13 words going here. We got quite a few ready to go from that, and we'll go ahead and talk about this. All right, so we talk about vignettes, history, execution. Okay, so this is the ritual tab or template, the ritual template. So some of these things may or may not apply depending on if it is a birthday or not. So we have the vignette, the history, execution, components and tools, participants and key roles, observances, related locations and ethnicities. We're not going to really specify an ethnicity or a location because this is going to be kind of the general one, but well, we can just say Trillenius because that is the home country of the Fairy Council. All right, so let's talk about sections. Okay, top sidebar. Oh, not this. Let's. So this is pretty much all that we have here. There's no other sub tabs here, so I guess we'll just be working with that specifically. There won't be anything else to go on. Okay. So let's switch over to the dictation window. For those who are interested to know, I do use Dragon Naturally Speaking for a dictation tool so that I can work on things more effectively and discuss things. Dazzly Cat, welcome to the channel. I'm glad that you were able to join us. Tonight we are working on the birthday prompt. So welcome. Just gonna type out the headers here as we get ready for the talking part about. Okay, execution. These are birthday parties. I hope there's not a lot of executing going on, but we'll see. Okay, components and tools. I'm not sure if we're going to be using participants and key roles. Observance. Okay. And of course, already the location of Trillenius that we have here. So thinking about what we have here as far as the free form goes, let's see if there's some, because we'll call it free form. We'll just call it that. Let's add in a header. We'll add in a header here. Oh, and Dazzly Cat, if you or anyone else has articles that you would like to have me read after we work on the prompt, feel free to put that in the chat if, or either now or as we get closer to that time when we're going to be doing the critiques or the showcases, I think would be a better word for it. Hey Sable, welcome. You're more than welcome to lurk as much as you like. Appreciate you being here and listening to my dulcet tones drone on, and as you probably lurk off to sleep. Was that creepy? That might have been creepy. All right. I want to talk, because we're talking about birthdays, I do want to talk about the I can spell my own words. Trillenius calendar. If I knew how to make an ASMR video, I'd be tempted to do it. What kind of script would I read? I mean, I could only imagine. Bueller. Wait, the mean teacher? What mean teacher? The principal? I'm not. The principal that chases Ferris all the way across Chicago? Is that the teacher you're referring to? Or the one who calls out Bueller all the time, trying to call attendance? All right. That's the first comparison I've had, but I love the reference. I meant your tone was like the attendance teacher. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Sometimes when I talk in congregations, I notice some of the congregants falling asleep, but that's okay. It's early in the morning. All right, so we're going to talk about the trilineous calendar, and in there we'll talk about the importance of the number 4. And let's see, I got some of my other notes. Yes, I want to talk about the significance that, no, it's not the coming of age. Because when I was thinking of what we're talking about birthdays, I wanted to do a little bit more than they have cake, they celebrate, because this is going to be sort of a medieval setting that they probably didn't have all of the extra fun things or the extravagant things that we think of today when we think of birthdays. And when I was talking with my kids about birthdays, we started brainstorming about what birthday are you most excited for. And so so I came up with a list, and we'll get into that a little bit more about what birthdays have what meaning in the different at the different ages of Sagadorm. And I think that'll help provide a little bit more clarity on what they're doing. Okay, and I think for the components and tools execution, yeah, I think we're good to go here. Wow, this is a rockin' piece of music. We need it. I appreciate that, but that is really, that was a little too active for me there. All right, and I remembered to turn on the microphone today. I'm really happy. All right, so let's just save these changes for the fun of it. All right, the trilineous calendar. Let's maybe birthdays. All right. Yeah, this is a soundtrack by Andrew Averia. Yeah, the other one was a little bit too driving. It was kind of distracting. Okay, so let's talk about birthdays. During the reign of the Fairy Council, birthdays were codified and given significance based on the new calendar established by the Fairy Council. Period. I'm already skipping sections. This isn't fun. Okay. Birthdays are celebrated across Sagadorm annually, period. They are small gatherings for family members based on the traditions of the country where they live and the culture that they are brought up in, and also the affluence of the family celebrating the birthday. Period. It was not until the Common Era of the Fairy Council that birthdays, certain, were given significance as it tied within the worship of the 5 dragons. The trilineous calendar is based on the number 4. The 4 days of the week are named after the 4 dragons of the creation myth. Period. These are the dragons of fire, air, water, and earth. Period. Each month in the calendar is 4 weeks long. Period. And a year in the calendar is 16 months. Period. This is a total of 256 days per calendar year. Period. As each day of the week is in celebration of one of the 4 dragons, comma, there is a season or 4 months that is in celebration of the 4 dragons, period. The 16 months of the year are celebrations of the 16 sacred animals of the trilineous astrology, which is also matching the 16 animals of the animalist religion that was replaced by the worship of the 5 dragons. Period. Because of the significance of because of the significance, of the number 4 within the trilineous calendar, each 4th year that a person celebrates, comma, especially during childhood and early adolescence, comma, has great significance. Period. Now I know we can do tables here. Which icon is tables? it's gonna be here. Hey Songbird, welcome. Hope everything's going well for you. Thanks for joining. I'm trying to find the tables. And this looks so nice on calendar. Is that it? Nope, that's a section. Is that it? No, that's a container. Image, link. Huh. I wonder if there's not a table in this. Let me see if we can get into the BB code. No, I don't want to do that. It's not cheating, because if you look at Trilineus on my calendar, it goes Trey Linnaeus. So it is true that I am a horrible speller, and because spell check and all of that stuff, but it does require that I do an extra round of edits that many people don't do when editing their prose, by making sure that everything matches what I meant to say and what I actually say, because there is a lot of issues with your homophones, like there, and there, or your and your. And Dragon does a pretty good job contextualizing which word I should have in there, so it does do a little bit of that. Oh, come on. Give me a break. It's a likely story. Yes, it's a very likely story.
You young whippersnappers, I was raised on an electronic typewriter. We didn't have backspace.
I can't do my grandpa voice for very long. But yeah, Kahuna's not the only one who does that voices. I just need a story to read. Songbird. All right. Yeah, I one of my greatest accomplishments, I would say, is that I read out loud all 7 books of the Harry Potter series out loud as bedtime stories to my children with actual voices. And I had Dumbledore, Hagrid, Harry, Snape, McGonagall. That was fun. And it took a long time. And luckily my children are young enough or old enough that it just worked in really well as the books were being released. So I also read the Little House on the Prairie series out loud to them all. Yeah, so there's I've had enough kids that story time has been a very, very long time. So yeah. Okay, I need to find some help with some BB code. That's BB code WorldAnvil. Let's see. There we go. Tables. No, that's not the table of contents. Anchor. No. Code. Oh, tables like that. Okay. So I guess I'll have to do that manually. Okay. That works for me. That works for me. Because I was hoping that I would be able to. There's some columns. Well, I'm also old enough that when you coded HTML by hand, you had to use tables because that was the only tags that were available in HTML4. No, actually, I learned HTML3. Ugh, I'm old. Okay, so when we get to that, we'll do a little bit of formatting on that, but we don't need to worry about that completely. All right, so let's just go through here and talk about the different ages. And like I said, every 4th year is a major event in a child and young adult's life. All right, so let's get back into here. Ages 0-4, : a child's birthday was not celebrated until their first quadranos. Yes, this is the birthday challenge. I did make up a new word here in this, and the word is quadranos, and it comes from Latin, where I just mushed together quad for meaning four, and annos meaning years. So quadranos is a 4-year period of time. So the idea is that because in Earth history, especially Greek history, I believe, that 4 years was called an Olympiad, and that's why we have the Olympics. I think. I could be wrong about that. But so every 4th year has significance, and we even see that today in election cycles in the United States, where a president is elected every 4 years. So here, a child's birthday was not celebrated until their first quadranos, or fourth annual birthday. Oh, come on. Seriously. Okay. WD Michael, welcome. The stream is going well. We are doing the birthday challenge, and my goal is to work as long until I can raid you at later. Oh, thanks for hopping in and putting the kids down to sleepers. I remember the days. Yeah, luckily my youngest is now 10. Oops. Anyway, so yeah, I remember those days, and I still put him to bed most nights. All right, so we're talking about coming of ages and the significance every 4th year. So let's just put that. Okay. The lack of birthday celebrations for children was due to the high mortality rate of children until they reach the age of 4. Period. Yeah, and I will, after I'm done with the birthdays, I will be reading, reading bedtime stories. I'm sorry. I tried to read the Percy Jackson stories, but my kids were a little too young with that, and it kind of scared them, so I couldn't do that one. But now my youngest is reading whole books on her own, so she reads stories to me now. That's a fun age. Okay, so all right, so the lack of birth. Okay, in the Middle Ages or in fairy time, I am going to have a higher child mortality rate, but it's still going to stick as we get into more modern technologies. Oh yeah, I loved the Harry Potter series, and it's really fun. And the good thing about it, let's divulge a little bit here. There are many different genres when we talk about school reading ages. We have young reader, we have early chapter books, we have mid-grade, then we have young adult. And one of the good things that is with the Harry Potter series is that books 1 through 3 are definitely middle grade readers, and they are meant for a middle grade audience. And it's not until books 4, 5, 6, and 7 that they transition from middle grade to a young adult book series, because those people who had been growing up with the books as they were being released were then now older and could handle a more mature subject material as they age. but those are really good. If the Chronicles of Narnia is an excellent series and a little more kid friendly. I also I really enjoyed reading the Laura Ingalls Wilder books. Little House in the Big Woods, Little House on Plum Creek, Little House on the Prairie, Little House on the Big Town, The Long Winter, First 4 Years. That was a really good book series, even though they are typically thought of as a book for young girls. I still enjoyed them because it's an insight into a part of American history that is not often thought about, of what it was like for the poor American farmer on the frontier. So anyway, enough of a tangent. All right, let's get back to reading about the coming of age. Age 4, : Oh yeah, The Hobbit is good. My kids, their school is like a 25-minute drive from the house, and they listen to The Lord of the Rings on a book on tape, and that took a whole year. Oh, don't worry about it. You're not derailing. We're just having fun, and to write 300 words in 2 hours. Can I post the link? Yes, sure. Yeah, Desi Cat. I haven't figured out how to block links yet. I guess I'm not popular enough about that. So feel free. Okay. All right. But if I get back, if it gets lost in the, I'll just post the link and I'll just open it up here as a tab. We'll do that. Okay. Esongbird, you can always have 2 words. Birthday article. You don't have to worry about word count 0. All right. Age 4. A child is officially welcomed as a member of the village or community and given their name at a welcoming ceremony. Period. This is when a more formal home-based education begins, where the parents teach the child basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic, comma, if the parents have enough education to do so. Period. Age 8, : All right, let me copy that link. We will put that here. Hello, birthday. Thank you for coming. Awesome. Okay, we will get to that. Age 8. A child is now welcomed to join the community school where skills not taught in the home are taught or reinforced. Period. This is an opportunity for the child to become a more educated reader and prepare to begin their apprenticeships in the future. Period. Depending on the village's circumstances, comma, education was provided to all youth in the village, comma, as mandated and funded by the Fairy Council. Period. Prior to the Common Era of the Fairy Council, education was completely voluntary and usually only available to the wealthy or well-connected. Period. Education of the populace was an important principle espoused by the Fairy Council. Period. Age 12, colon. At this age, comma, a young person is ready to begin an apprenticeship. Period. I forgot something about age 8 from my notes here. From age 8 and older, comma, youth were expected to work on the family farm or in a communal farm if their family did not have one. Period. This ensured that children in the cities could have an appreciation for life outside and know where their food came from and the struggle to provide it for the cities. Period. And it also helps to keep the classes a little bit more close together. And because if you're age 8 and you're sent out to live on a farm, I think that's important. When I was, how old was I? When I was 14, my first job was milking cows at a dairy. It was a small herd of maybe 200 to 300. Greatest 2 years at that time for me to learn principles of work and appreciation for food, because I appreciate food way too much. Anyway. All right. Apprenticeships. Apprenticeships could be of any type or skill set based on the masters who are available in the village or city where the youth is located. Period. Age 16, colon. After 4 years of apprenticeship, comma, most of the youth are ready to become journeymen. Period. In smaller areas, comma, journeymen could begin their own practice, comma, workshop, comma, store, comma, etc. Period. In larger cities where there is not the need for shops to be established, comma, the journeymen joined a guild where they were then sent out to work among the established businesses in the local area. Period. Also, depending on the type of apprenticeship, comma, those requiring extra skill, comma, they remained apprentices for an additional 4 years. Period. Age 20, colon. It is commonly expected that young persons are married around the age of 20. Period. Arranged marriages are common among the higher echelons of society. Period. But marriages of love and whoever's available in the small town were more common. Period. Those who had complicated apprenticeships were able to become journeymen at this age. Period. New line, new line. Age 24, colon. After having served many years as a journeyman, comma, young people are allowed to take the master's tests. Period. Upon the successful completion of the tests, comma, youth could then be take apprentices of their own and leave the guild. Period. It is at the age of 24 that a youth is considered an adult and has all the rights and privileges of any other citizen based on the cultures and customs of the local government. Period. While most of the governments had an element of royalty, comma, it was strongly encouraged by the Fairy Council that a committee of the people is included for the management of the daily affairs of the people and city. Period. Oh, Dazzly Cat, the reason why I have all this information is because I'm not answering the question that they asked. I'm answering the question that I wanted to answer. And so I have very little information. If you look at the actual birthdays, I don't really have a lot. I'm talking mostly about the coming of age. I talked a lot about the calendar. It's only really this, it's hardly even this first paragraph that's talking about birthdays. I wanted to talk more about ages and progression and things like that so that I could have a better understanding. Okay. So as far as history goes, I'm not going to really talk about that because I think I covered a lot of that up there. Execution. Yeah, thank you very much. I do think it meshes well. I've had Sagadorm percolating in my brain for a long time, and so this is just giving me an opportunity to put on paper what's been bouncing around in this skull of mine. So yeah, it's good. It's all good. We are all at different levels. I can tell you definitely there are more experienced world builders than I am, and there are definitely better writers than I am, but I'm just excited to share this journey, and hopefully my stumbling along in the journey to becoming an author is helpful for those that are out there through this little webcam here. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, let's I'm not going to talk about history. Let's talk about execution. All right. The celebration of a birthday often included a special meal in honor of the youth, period. Each of the 16 months of the Trilineus calendar is associated with a specific animal, period. This would mean that the meal used to celebrate the birthday would be a meal that that animal would most likely eat, period. So when there were birds, for months based on birds, there were lots of seeds and fruit, period. For the months of carnivores, there was lots of meat, period. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I have all 16 animals laid out, but I really don't want to take the time today to pick all of the meals because I don't know the eating habits of all of the different animals. Because if you can tell me what a Komodo dragon eats, thank you. But I'll go to Mr. Google and Mr. Wikipedia to find that one out. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I have a lot of scribbles that I wrote. I wrote down here. Yeah, there you go. I have a lot of scribbles that I wanted to draw pictures for, but like last night I read an article about cairns, about a secret language. Yeah, okay, so Komodo dragons eat meat. They've killed with their bacteria-filled bites. Okay, so in the month of the Komodo dragon, then they would celebrate meat. Maybe I would make those that are Komodo dragons, depending on where they ate the meat, or animals that a Komodo dragon would probably eat, where a cougar would do more of like small game animals like rabbits or something like that. Yeah, okay. So that's a future challenge. Okay. So let's talk about components and tools. At the celebration of the different quadrennials, the birthday celebrant was given an amulet of achievement, period. These amulets would signify their age and allow people to know more about them, period. Yeah, that's kind of lame. But I wanted to draw pretty pictures. That's, a 4, an 8, a 16, a 12. Just something that would be a more specific thing. that we have there. Okay, so we are done here with this transcription. Let me take this over to the copy and paste. All right, so we have Dazzly Cat. We have their article coming up first for a critique. Anyone else who has an article that they would like to have discussed at this time, feel free to put it in the link. We will go through them and have it just talk about talk about them. Okay, I got a copy. So let me just hurry and work, change keyboards, and no, not that. There we go. Not that. Okay, there we go. Save! Exactly. I got to get this over into the actual saving, where I save it. But now that it's in, because what I do, I have my transcription document, then I have a Google Doc, and then I put it in here. So it's technically saved because it's in the Google Doc right now. Okay, so execution. Okay, components. Participants. Observance. Well, I really talk about observances at the way up there. So I'm not going to worry about the observances. All right, let us save these changes. And let's switch our view back to the full screen. Okay, there we go. And save changes. Community challenges. All right, let's submit that. Article has already been submitted. I guess I may have double tapped there. Let's go to metadata, 911 words. We'll go over to NaNoWrimo. Record my words there. Update the progress. All right, we're approaching 7,000 words with the 13 prompts. This is good. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so let's start closing out the windows. Close that one, close that one. That's saved. WorldAnvil progress report. All right, the birthdays. All right, cool. Now, I don't have anything pre-written for the remaining prompts that we have here, so I have some ideas, but we'll definitely need to get into that. Okay, enough with my prompts. Let's get into yours. Drink. All right. I'd like to thank everyone who has followed me, and in the past streams, I'm up to 40 followers at this time. If there's anyone watching tonight who is not following, I would really appreciate a follow and a notification reminder so that you can join us every time that I go live. I am doing this 6 nights a week at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and so any of those who would like to follow, please hit that the heart that's, well, over there. Okay. All right. Hello, birthday, Pangorio. Let's take a look at Pangorio. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay, Dazzly Cat, is this the whole world or just a continent in the world? That is beautiful. Okay, it does say the world on it, so I'm assuming that this is the type of map that just covers the whole world. Whole world from pole to pole. Okay, cool. Oh, that's going to be fun when that gets populated. Okay, hello birthday. Thank you for coming, all persons who properly celebrate the day of their birth. The proper lands, those realms connected by the gateway, represent the powerful of Pangorio. Many different races with many different gods, because of the gateways, have, through the centuries of connections, come to share some customs and even create new ones. One such tradition is the celebration of birthdays. Okay, let's start off with this first paragraph here. A lot of new terminology, the proper lands, gateway. As coming into this and not knowing anything about the world, I would love to have a link to at least a description of what the proper lands and what the gateway is, so that I could at least hover over that and get more into that. Many different races with many different gods. Okay, because of the gateway have, through the centuries of connections, come to share some customs and even new ones. That is a very long sentence. I like shorter sentences. I'd reword. I would recommend rewording that. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well. Now, and I will admit this. Sorry for the little bit of a tangent. Writing for the ear and writing for the page are two completely different things. I do some voice acting and I do some voice announcing as a master of ceremonies before this year happened. And when I'm given a script to read, and if I'm allowed to change the words, I go through and I change a lot of it to be easier to read, so that when I'm standing up there at the microphone in front of the audience at the performance, I can read what's going on without going in the middle of it. So that is and that really depends on your audience. You can get away with longer sentences, more complicated sentences when you're writing for the written word. But if you're thinking, but I do like to go and err towards the spoken word, because if you can read it out loud in one breath, well, if you can't read it out loud in one breath, you may want to consider shortening that sentence, because you may be trying to shove too much information into that one sentence. And that's the vibe. And from an editor's point of view, I hate to say this, but I don't know if they'd get past this first sentence. Because while you have I like the questions that are being asked here. What are the proper lands? What are the gateways? How are the gods connected because of the gateway? Those different things. It's intriguing to let me go forward, but the challenge of reading that sentence out loud was a little bit of a challenge. So I'm sorry if that was too much or persnickety. I just wanted to give a little bit of that. It is yet to be edited. Oh, tell me about it. I've been so embarrassed after the fact of some of the articles I've submitted for showcases on other channels, where I'm going, oh, I write better than that. Come on. So anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, most summer camp articles are that way. It's all good. Yep, it is. And we're definitely going to be reworking all of these as the year progresses. Unlike the more primitive folk, proper folk awaken on the day of their birth and thank it for coming. Although their morning rituals of grooming, all through their morning ritual, I'm old. Okay. Unlike the more primitive folk, proper folk, it's interesting that you capitalize proper folk and you lowercase primitive folk, because this indicates to me that this is a common description for people, but proper folk is like a specific group of people that has requirements for classification to be given the caps lock. That's just my interpretation of the prose. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Okay, they awaken on the day of their birth and thank it for coming. Although all through, give it the proper viewpoint. Yeah, okay. All through their morning rituals of grooming and dress. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to. I do not like that guy. Okay, that music. Okay. Unlike the more primitive folk, proper folk awaken on the day of their birth and thank it for coming. All through their morning rituals of grooming and dress, they sing or hum a birthday song before arriving at the breakfast table, where the rest of the household has waited for the birthday celebrant to arrive and start the morning feast. I like it already. Okay. This presumes it's a person who's old enough to know the song, or the person, and that the person is living at home, the rest of the household. Are there different, what if it's a young child? Because I did focus heavily on the young child birthday as opposed to older. So that's just something to think about if you wanted to add more detail. But I do like that. Okay, start the morning feast. All right. Once this is done, the celebrant travels at the head of their household to the respective chapel, where the presiding cleric leads them in the birthday prayers. These prayers vary depending on the patron god of the celebrant, but at the end, every celebrant is given a beaded bracelet of blessing to see through another year to their next birthday. With the gifted bracelet in hand, the celebrant leaves, once again leading their household home, where the celebrant spends the day being visited by friends and family. Very nice. And very interesting here that the patron god of the celebrant is separate from the chapel and the presiding cleric. Was that intentional? Because usually, because it just seems like here that the chapels and the clerics are non-denominational, and the prayers to the patron god changes. So that's the vibe I'm getting. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's just something if that needs to be clarified or not. For the children, okay, here we go. For children, this is a day of playmates, gifts, and treats. I miss being a kid. And is the most anticipated day of the year. Women have all-day tea parties and receive gifts. Men receive the occasional gift and accept the well wishes from friends and family. After supper, his closest male friends and relatives take him to their favored tavern for plenty of drinking, where he never has to buy his drinks. Okay, I do like this paragraph. You break it up into children, men, and women. And because men go to the tavern, I'm assuming that there must be an age at which a young man or a young woman is considered an adult, where the birthday celebration translates from playmates to tea parties to to the tavern. Yes. Okay, cool. Each race within the proper lands has their own additional birthday traditions that they add to the proper way. Okay, if you're going to use proper as a classification, I would almost consider the proper way as needing to be capitalized as well. Like there is, because is there a book of etiquette? The proper way, the force, this is the way we do things. I don't know if that's what you do or not, but that if you haven't done the document challenge, that could be a fun thing that you express that you have the Miss Manners book of the proper way or something that everyone has to read or something like that. To do otherwise would not be proper. Okay, yeah, I would leave that lowercase there. Yeah. Each race within the proper lands. Okay, yeah, has their own additional. Yeah, and depending on the length of this article, you could start getting into some of these things for each of the different races. Yeah, you could get into that. But yeah, this has a solid foundation, and I think it could be well expanded upon to be able to provide clarification on different parts of it. Yeah, so I think this is it's a good start. Yeah. All right. There you go. Like it. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to submit something for a critique or a showcase? Oh, thank you. You've been very helpful. I'm glad to help. Galadan. All right. Good. Yeah, let's get more going here, because honestly, I am afraid of the next. Where is the not that, the community? I'm worried about the secret code or cipher. I have not figured that one out yet. And I really don't want to skip one, because I kind of want to accept the challenge that I have to do them in order and I have to do it completely. My above the law group. Okay. Write about an organization your world has become so powerful that it's above the law. Got it. Okay. Instantly a fun vibe. It's probably because I have it so Ald homepage, Ripples, founding. Okay. The birthday was hard, but the code was easy. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know what to do for it. Because unless well, I'll figure something out. Ripples. Swelling up. Social click. The Ripples Club. Rippers. Okay. A shocking twist in Sandresi this morning as the plebe class rose to victory against some of our plank holders' finest in the first college regatta, the Evening Bosun. Yeah, we all do think differently, and that's what makes it fun. If we were all the same, it'd be boring. During the early morning hours of a crisp autumn day at 18 a.m., in 18 a.m., I'm assuming that is the year 18 a.m., Uh, like era designator, yeah. Okay. What does AM stand for? I'm interested. 18 young men in 2 crews of 9 set off in their boats to begin a grueling exercise and heart-wrenching competition. Age of Man. Okay. They developed this technology in 18 years? I'm sorry, but tangents, but I'm kind of interested. After incredible exertion by both sides, the plebe class of the Naval War College came out victorious by 10 seconds over the crew of the Littoric Islands, highest-born sons. Such an embarrassing upset was a shock to this group of privileged young men, who vowed to never let it happen again. Calling their new organization the Ripples Club, thus named for the only thing the competition will see of their boats in the future. I like that. They dedicated themselves to excellence in sport and perhaps more subtly, the reinforcement of social strata in the largely meritorious Naval War College. Okay. Much with the previous article, that is one sentence. A paragraph should never be one sentence. That may be old-fashioned from when I learned writing in elementary school when the dinosaurs still roamed the earth. But, the first line is the thesis of the paragraph. The contents of the paragraph expounds upon the thesis of the paragraph, and it goes on. So, no, it's the second age of my world, contrasting with the age of rule when God still ruled countries. Oh. Okay. The Age of Men. Okay, so kind of like the Lord of the Rings, where the elves all left and the Age of Men began. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. I can see that. But I like the name of the Ripples Club. This is a really good description. And sorry for my squeaky chair. This is a really good description here of their founding, why it is the Littoric Islands. Okay. Oh, it's a whole article. Okay. History. Sporting their easily recognizable colors of purple and white, the average Ripples member can be found in class with most students or around campus during expectant hours. However, in the early morning, one must be on their guard lest they catch Ripplers returning to the dormitories from late-night revelry. The evening, excluding predictable study times, for one of these young men normally involves a dinner with all the members before retiring to their clubhouse to drink, socialize, and most importantly, to plan for the end-of-year prank more confounding than the last. Again, that's a pretty long sentence. By virtue of, in equal measure, birth and how much of a tradition they have become, chastisement and punishment for the breaking of college rules is exceedingly rare. The only prank to lead to punishment was the theft of the TAS Cartwright, which Ripple Club members managed to slip from the port in Caletta, many miles from Sandresi, crew the 600-man vessel entirely themselves and sail it to the practice grounds of a rival crew team. While the brains behind the operation received a reduction in grade, local press and many students saw it as a feat of excellent seamanship. With a twist of humor, the commandant assigned many Ripplers to the Cartwright that year. That's fun. I'm getting so far in the article, I'm getting the feeling that the law that the Ripplers are above is more collegiately based than society based, but I could be proven wrong in what's to come. Okay. Two ripples. Okay, is that an inconsistent? Ripples. Am I just saying it wrong? Ripples. Am I putting an extra R in there? Oh no, many of the ripplers. Ripples. Okay. Assign many ripples. So that should probably be made consistent, unless there is a difference between a rippler and a ripple. I'm guessing not. Two Ripples club members were detained by Port Authority watchmen today after a drunken row left 3 windows smashed on Anglo Street. Of course, they were promptly released. The even bosun. Casual denonym is Ripplers because more official people would say club members, but yeah, it could be more consistent. Okay. Contrary to the original intent of excellence mixed with humor and revelry, today the club seems to be more focused on the latter. The most covert means must be undertaken to even reserve a restaurant for a club-wide dinner, and college staff keep their eyes peeled at night for signs of mischief. Numbers have dropped as the meritorious tenants of the Littoric Islands evolved after former Rippler Argano Vivaldi's tenure as High Admiral. Okay. Known members: High Admiral Argano Vivaldi, Prince Calisio Fiorentino, and High Admiral Ian de Aria. Okay. I like it. The reason I like it is because when you think of someone who is above the law, and the idea that I was thinking of for my own article is a nefarious group, or a group with nefarious intent, the bad guys, the anti-Justice League, Justice a Villain type thing. But this is just a frat house that wants to have fun. And the law that they're above is they just get away with their pranks. Is that a fair assessment? I hope so, because when someone says above the law to me, I think people who more wouldn't be stopped by the law rather than people who focus on breaking it, which she sees more criminal enterprise. Yeah, okay, good. It's fun. I like it. I'm not sure what kind of suggestions I have aside from the grammar that I talked about, because you give good background of their founding, you give a vibe of what the group does through the history. You give an example of the only prank. I'd probably put a paragraph break in there. The even bosun. That is those are fun little excerpts. I did kind of feel like the plebes because here, all right, in writing short stories, usually the people, I hope, am I having internet problems? Okay, you guys, looks like I'm having some instability issues. You're fine. Okay, good. Maybe I just have a bunch of kids on the Wi-Fi right now. All right. Okay, so when we're talking about short stories, usually the first character that you see or read about is the character that you imprint upon. And so that's one danger of prologues. And I admit I am kind of in an anti-prologue camp where um, if you talk about a person, but who's not the main point of that story, it's going to raise the question, well, what's going on? Why are we now, you were talking about this, now you're talking about somebody else. And so during um, this first paragraph here, um, you talk about the 18 young men and two crews of 9, okay, but then you talk about the plebe class of the Naval War College first over the Lictoric Island's highest born sons. So my initial thought was this article was about the plebe class as opposed to the Lictoric Islands and the highest born sons of the Lictoric Islands. So just for tricking the brain a little bit, I would probably somehow switch that. So the first people you're talking about in this article are the members of the Ripples Club, because they're the main stars. They should be talked about first, not the plebe class. And but I like the narrative feel of this paragraph. But I would cut your story, your choice. Mine's only one point of view. I would take a look at that. Okay, that's oh well, that died. Okay, cool. All right, that's yeah, that's great stuff. To talk about. Anyone else have an article? And Galadan, thank you so much. I was trying something more narrative than my normal academic style writing, so thanks for the tip. Yeah, and that's the challenge that I'm having with this too, is because I am doing a more academic style because I'm thinking that I'm writing something that's like Wikipedia here, and I should look at the camera, not at your typing. I'm writing something more about an article about something than the prose of something. And so it's a nice, yeah, I do like the evening bosun here. And this does feel, I just want to, no, I'm going to be quiet now. Um, because that's what it is. Um, yeah. Yeah, so that's the only issue that um, I would say about that. I brought this expecting a site that was factual, a wiki for me. Turns out it's more short story theme. Well, yeah, that's true. I came to WorldAnvil wanting to have a wiki that I could make myself and a place to put my fiction that I write. And the events of Summer Camp 2020 have really opened my eyes to the possibility of what can be done in the form of non-traditional fiction telling, because reading an article can be just as entertaining as reading a short story for different reasons. So yeah, um, I write primarily short stories because I haven't had the time to write long ones. Okay, it's like a rabbit hole. Yeah, avoid TV tropes. If anything, the website TV tropes, that is a fun rabbit hole to fall down in. But literally, you have to set a timer that says, I'm going to only read this website for 20 minutes. Because if you think you can go from place to place to place on Wikipedia. TV tropes is 100 times better. All right. Well, only got a couple viewers. I really do appreciate that. If there's no one else going to be submitting, wait. Oh no, this is, man. This chat window keeps jumping back up. Okay. Well, looking at the calendar, we still have. Oh, we have WD Michael coming up soon. Let me put him in a new window. Is he live yet? He's still offline. Okay. So what we'll do is if no one else. Oh yeah. Galadan, sure. Send over the Evening Bosun. Oh wait, I have a link to it, don't I? I just can click that. Is that the Evening Bosun article? Is that the correct place? Word to be passed. Okay. Oh, this is a fun little map. The Latoric Islands. Okay. First dog, second dog, the twins. Sandressi. Okay, this is the Evening Bosun. I am Green Eye. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. It seems okay. Thank you so much. I do hope that you're enjoying your time here with it. I appreciate that. Now, let's get back to seems to be but the wrong image, but the right article. Okay, good. All right. So let's jump into this one. Named for one of the many roles of a boatswain on a ship, calling commands via whistle, otherwise inaudible over the sounds of the sea, the evening boatswain does just that over the political waves of Sandressi. Founded by Donato Shipley, a former boatswain himself, with a focus on investigating claims of meritorious valor which otherwise may have gone overlooked by the Admiralty Board. Quickly, this evolved into a full investigative post as Shipley and his reporters began diving deeper into the inefficiencies of the Latoric Islands government. Thus, the first national newspaper to do more than print local events was created. Nice. After the ship's magazine blew, a tar-covered Prince Calcio Fiorentino swam away with his brother in arms, clenched between his teeth by his belt, saving his life. He has since declined his much-deserved awards. Donato Shipley, the Evening Bosun. Yeah, okay, that's a nice little thing. The first target of the Evening Bosun's ire was the Ripples Club. All right, okay. A group of boisterous and privileged young midshipmen at the Sandressi's Naval War College. Renowned for their end-of-year pranks, the paper often went out of their way to find the names of its members and print them alongside whatever antics occurred, always with a shaming tone, even calling out future High Admiral Argano Vivaldi. Okay. Many members of high society and even the common folk saw these pranks as a demonstration of excellent seamanship and thinking outside the box, representing the only risk to readers' numbers in the paper's history. This was more than made up for through the community-based work of many evening bosun reporters. Despondent mothers would write to the paper and hope for news about the fates of their sons lost at sea, and a letter equal parts factual and kind would soon follow. However, occasionally the reporters found more than they bargained for in this normally mundane process, and some of the nation's most evocative articles would soon follow. At 8 this evening, Admiral Ian de Aria was seen rushing from the alabaster halls of the Admiralty Board, war declaration in hand, and signed by the Admiral. Evening Bosun, 3rd of Mistra, 96 a.m. Yeah, okay, good. The Evening Bosun truly became the paper of the nation around the advent of the First Frozen War, where even multiple editions were printed daily, allowing readers to follow events as they unfolded in the prelude to war. Through the course of this ill-fated conflict, the Evening Bosun managed to recruit sailors as reporters, whom wrote home in code in order to get articles published exposing faulty practices, outrageous injuries, and unjustifiable sacrifices taking place across the Northern Front. Now, Galandan, is that your secret code that you talked for another article? What they wrote home, how they wrote home? I'm just curious. Accidentally. No, nothing's accident. I didn't notice I set myself up for that. Oh, so you haven't planned out your secret code yet? Interesting. Okay. Sure. Today, while greatly respected and widely read, the Evening Bosun faces ridicule. Not at all. I joined summer camp late. Hey, that's all good. You got a step ahead. The Evening Bosun faces ridicule in some circles for their financing of an expedition to the Serpent Sea in order to investigate claims made as long ago as the First Frozen War, 96 a.m. Ooh. Sorry. Of mysterious creatures burrowing beneath the ice. Whether a sailor's tale or not, the investigative reporters at the Evening Bosun are here to find out. Okay, creatures burrowing beneath. That could be an apex predator there. While its length and breadth of coverage has expanded over time, there are a number of staple features of the Evening Bosun. Firstly, as newspapers are wont to do, most urgent breaking news is displayed at the front. Usually the term in newspapers is above the fold, because when newspapers, if this is your newspaper, then they would fold it. It would be folded like that, and only this part right here would be displayed on the rack. And so if something was truly important, it's usually called above the fold when talking about newspapers. But I guess I'm old enough that my wife actually delivered newspapers. That's right, good catch. Hey, we're here to help each other. Okay. Oftentimes, this takes the form of large headlines for articles, slipped to the paper in code by its war correspondent sailors. Secondary to this attention-grabbing yet informative section is room for more in-depth reporting on matters involving sources. I am so sorry. It's just been a day. Anonymity or hard-hitting investigation. Lastly are the sections most important to many readers, obituaries and honor rolls. These are often far ahead of the fleet's own reports, and honor rolls occasionally name those who have not been awarded a medal, which the evening bosun says they should. I like that. But man, obituaries. War is rough. An example copy. Admiral. War is declared. Okay. Dissemination. Owing to the unique issues posed in delivering news across a far-flung archipelago, the evening bosun makes use of the unique talents of some islanders. Owing to the direct creation of man by the gods, some citizens of nations are lucky enough to be born with powers inspired by their respective deities. In the Littoric Islands, one such ability is an almost supernatural skill at swimming. Young men from Sendrasi swim with watertight capsules of a copy of that evening's paper, distributing it to the next island out and handing over their spares to a native of whichever island they swam to, and so on. The copy is then placed predominantly in the public square for the largest settlement on whichever land and disseminated by word of mouth. Okay, so these are kind of more like flyers that are posted on a board. Because when we think of the newspapers, man, I am so sorry. I won't say that I have a puppy that wakes me up at 5 o'clock every morning with yimping and wanting me to let it out at night, because he's not here and I can't pay a puppy tax right now. The young men from Sendrasi swim with watertight cap. Okay, yeah. So these are probably small capsules that I'm guessing olden times called them placards. Okay, yeah, in a way, in Rome, they basically full papers on the wall in squares and have people spread mouth because of no printing. Okay, yeah, because I'm curious about the technology level that you have here, because even though we're like 96 AM, it albums, hence our word. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, this looks printed, though. This looks like there is a printing press, and so I'm just wondering if there is a specific reason why copies were distributed in a manner that there weren't as many copies to go around. Okay, limited printing, less mass production. Okay, fair enough. That may not need to be in here. And I guess that's a suggestion that's not so much of reflective of this article. It's just something in my mind that that piques my curiosity. Oh, God. Well, W.D. Michael, I am not going to be able to stay up very long with your stream. Yeah. But this is fun. It's a very different world where you're mixing. I guess it was probably because of the bosun and this picture that we have here of the technological level that this implies, because you have the bodices, you have the top hat, which means trapping of furs, you have the fine craftsmanship of the boats that are required, you have colonial turn of the 1800s, early 1800s architecture, which means masonry, and then putting that into magic. And I may be reading too much into this picture. The license-free artwork of the British Museum. That's fair. That is fair. Okay. Good job. Oh wait, ripples, evening bosun. Yeah. The evening bosun felt like it is a more thought out or longer because it probably has a lot more interesting history as opposed to just the rippers. But yeah, this is fun. I used to have this theme on my website, and I couldn't figure out how to darken the headers and the links because I don't know the CSS stylings of WorldAnvil well enough. So that's what I used this theme for a while. But all right. So it looks like WD Michael is still not around. Me neither. I just got here a few days ago and battled CSS 4 hours. Oh man, yeah, that's no fun. Yeah. All right. Well, Dazzlecat, if you have one, I'm ready to read. Because I am kind of just chilling until I'd like to send you guys over an array to WD Michael, but maybe his kids are taking a little bit longer, and I really don't want to start a new prompt. So yeah, send me a link. Because while you're getting your link, Dazzlecat, really I have an idea of the elite or highly specialized military unit because I did talk about a rank in that one earlier. I talk a lot about the animal corps, the blessed animals, so that's really fits well into that. Yeah, keep throwing them in. We'll take turns. But yeah. Common old wives' tale or conspiracy theory. That's going to be a fun one. Does it hold any truth? That's going to be where I have magic in my world. And I don't know, Galandan, if you have magic in your world because you said the age of gods fell. So does that mean there are no more gods? Or is it just that there's no more magic? Not sure about that. All right, Dazzlecat. Let's copy. Very soft magic. Okay, well, very soft magic to me means that there's very few rules associated with the magic as opposed to a hard magic which has lots of rules. So do you mean a very soft magic that has few rules, or that there's just a very low influence of magic? That's what I'm not sure about that. Both few rules, vague, and low influence. Okay, even better. My world has a very low influence of magic as well, but it yeah. All right. Dracoglyphics. That's a fun word. Dracoglyphics is a language of pictures instead of letters. Okay, good. That with the good glyphics there. It is thought to be the oldest of old languages, and so old not even the eldest of dragons truly knows their meaning. They are found engraved upon stone or sheets of precious metals hung on walls in incredibly old caverns. Some natural, but most obviously dug by a master burrower of great size. The greatest scholars all agree that the Dracoglyphs contain a name and a life story, or several names and several life stories, and are a curious history rather than a font of knowledge. It is this scholastic belief that leaves dracoglyphs a dead and ignored language. Okay. Within the Grand Archives, the Brethren adopted the dracoglyphs of their own. Okay, all right, good. We have the Grand Archives and the Brethren. I'd probably, if you have articles for those, I'd probably turn those into links. Though they do maintain a genuine translation compiled from every source they have found, they have evolved it into a code. No magic is used to write their dracoglyphs, nor are there any wizarding words or phrases used in the translations which carry the much more detailed coded message. To outsiders, the Brethren are merely a collective of deep study scholars, rather sharing rather boring minutiae of academia, and their obsession with dracoglyphs proves it. The secret dracoglyphs and their translations hold for the Brethren the secrets dracoglyphs and their translations hold for the Brethren are vital in their hunt against demons, devils, and harmful artifacts. Details like who is involved, where these people or things are, how to defeat, destroy, contain them, or other such tidbits vital to the Brethren. All right, okay, this is good. There are no sounds attributed to any of the dracoglyphs, though the draconian language is often used as a language to first explain the dracoglyphs, and if there are any words directly applied to dracoglyphs, they are in draconian. Okay. Dracoglyphs do not vary as words do in alphabetic languages. Their meaning or suspected translation vary, but never the dracoglyphs. Dracoglyphs are arranged in columns to be read from top to bottom, each representing a single idea, thing, action, name, or event whose meaning changes into a new group meaning for all the dracoglyphs in a column. This is the closest to sentence dracoglyphs get, and it is not uncommon for a single translation to involve several paragraphs. There are 7,473 known dracoglyphs that have been found all over the world. What each one means is often debated, and there is no true translation for them. Okay, very good. Okay, so W.D. Michael has gone live, but let's finish reviewing this article, and then we'll go and raid him for when he starts. Okay, dracoglyphs. Okay, so Des the Cat, how familiar are you with Egyptian hieroglyphs or American Sign Language? Because I do get the vibe of Egyptian hieroglyphics in this, that there's many pictures that represent the similar things, and you could take the dracoglyphs and turn them into your own secret language, and I could see that. But when you talk about here about their syntax, and whose meaning changes into new group meanings in the column. When you talk about American Sign Language and all of the signs that they do with their hands, as I understand it, and I'm not an expert in ASL, but they are very similar to what you've described here. It's the context of how the sign is used, the facial expression of the person giving the sign, on how that is interpreted. There are a lot of words in the English language that don't have equivalents in American Sign Language. So if you were to read what I'm assuming, like the syntax of dracoglyphs, you would have Bob, house, night. Well, we would say Bob went to the house at nighttime. Something like that. So I do like that. I do like how you're talking about the phonology. If you're looking to, what kind of feedback do you want on this? Are you looking for ideas that to expand this, things that are, what kind of I should ask what kind of feedback you're looking for. And there's a 6-second delay as we wait for that. But yeah, I do like it. I'm interested in knowing more about the brethren and what they do. Whatever you can give. Okay, sure. Okay. You said that this is just brethren are merely a collective of deep study scholars sharing rather boring minutiae of academia, and their obsession of Dracoglyphs proves it. I'm curious to know. I would like to see a section in this on how are the Dracoglyphics replicated, meaning how are they drawn out? How are they? How are you said they went from top to bottom, which is good, and a little bit of the grammar. But I'm just curious on, is this a language that requires painstaking calligraphy, such as Chinese or similar languages, or is it simple enough that a few strokes could have it, much like Japanese or the Roman alphabet? I would like to know a little bit more about what the Dracoglyphs look like. Because if you're talking about secrets that are hidden in pages for these brethren, are they, how long does it take to write out 500 words or 500 Dracoglyphs? Is there a technology it's more like Chinese? Okay. Yeah, my kids are in a Chinese immersion program. 2 of my kids are. And it takes them a long time to write something out in Chinese. Usually there's like anywhere between 5 to 10 strokes for the formal characters, but when you do the pinyin, then in the drawing, but looks more like Egyptian hieroglyphics. Okay, yeah, I would love to see a couple of examples. But that would require you to draw and stuff like that. But if you don't want to do it, yes, I do like this article because you're building out the world. I'm interested. You talk a little bit about the draconian language, where how does draconian differ from Dracoglyphs? When Dracoglyphs became Romanized, for a lack of better word, is that how we got draconian? I can't draw. Me neither. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. I like it. Not a lot of suggestions, except for maybe a little bit more about how the language is used in practice. Because I'm thinking of, okay, if the brethren are out hunting demons, devils, and artifacts, is this something that they could scribble on a piece of paper rather quickly in their dying breaths? If they got attacked but needed to communicate some information quickly, would that be something that they could do? I don't know. If not, fine, but it would be interesting to be able to know that kind of description. All right, so let's thank you so much for everyone who has joined, who followed me today. We're just going to wrap this up tonight. Thank you again for Mad Moon Crow, Gift of Gabby 1. I am Green Eye for following me tonight. We're closing in on the magical 50 to for me to reach affiliate. Anyone out there who would like to follow me, I would truly appreciate it at twitch.tv/WriterGreg. And tonight we are going to set up a raid, and we are going to go over to WD Michael and raid him. He's not, it looks like he's still hasn't quite started yet, so stick around, enjoy his welcome screen, and I'm going to go take a drink of water, and then I'll see you over there. So thank you very much, and have a great evening, and I will see everyone tomorrow night, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and where we will tackle the next prompt number 14, which I hope I can figure out something before then. That's everything. Thank you so much, and have a great night. Good night, everyone.